Hey, we're back again with another new collection for June 2024. This is going to be Ambience Detailed Rain. This collection is really a prime example of why you should take a serious look at Strata if you haven't done so yet. With this release, I have an opportunity to take a look at what I think is one of the most impressive features of Strata. To a pretty full extent, we'll go into it, but that's the control tracks that Strata has. So as always, we'll take a listen to some of the sounds, jump into the main project, just get a lay of the land, and then go over a few examples and show you what you can do with this collection. All right, cool. So nice, relaxing rain sounds. Don't be fooled. This is really, to be honest, one of the most exciting collections I've looked at in a little while. For this collection, we have three different projects. Rain background is used to set the overall tone of a scene. Rain close could be used to target areas with specific materials like roofs. Rain single drops to further enhance the immersion for individual props or objects, like a puddle. So here's a listen to the design example I put together, and then we'll jump into the rain background project. For this scene, I'm using the forest deciduous ambience in the rain background project here. Ideally, I want the rain to increase in intensity over time, as well as match some of the camera movement and the fades of the actual clip. You can see I have quite a bit of automation going, which is essentially driving the Strata project's control tracks and by extension, all of the Enrage or IEM EQ instances that are present here. As you can also take notice of, this project appears to have quite a bit of intriguing organization going on. If you've never opened up a Strata project like this before, if you've never seen this kind of elaborate folder structure and among other things. So a control track basically has an instance of a plugin RIA control MIDI set up as an insert on it. This plugin has a sort of series of sliders there that can output MIDI CC information to whatever you assign based on the channel. So in turn, we can create sends from this control track anywhere we like throughout the Reaper project to any track and link the CC to individual plugin parameters or macros such as what we have inside of Enrage. We use this to manipulate the effects plugins on our project in potentially some really complex and interesting ways. It's effectively turning the Reaper project itself into a custom sound design instrument of sorts. In a sense, when you open up a project and look at something like this, you're kind of just seeing under the hood of the actual mechanics that you're going to be using. You can put the mechanic hat on if you want to dig deep and customize the system or learn, but you could actually drive this sound vehicle, so to speak, already. It's ready to go for you. This is probably a good opportunity to just maybe get a little bit of a better sense of the material and the sound It's actually making up this particular ambience. So let's have a listen to some of these layers. So we have a set of control macros on this background mix track, and these are kind of manipulating an IEM EQ instance that will give you some options to control the overall perspective or the texture of the sound. We have a designated control track with intensity and wetness parameters here. This will essentially crossfade or blend between any of the corresponding child tracks that makes up the bass texture, the reverb texture, and the drop texture layers. So obviously, this tooling, as I was using it, it's great and really useful for linear work inside of the project. You can just pull your video in here, but you can also use it to model the intensity for something that would happen in an interactive system, save a few different iterations, and then break that down into blend containers or something of the sort. The craftsmanship that the sound designers and the recordists put into these collections is already remarkable, but this extra dimension of usability in here, it feels like they almost like package themselves along as a personal assistant. So with this collection, you could very easily end up with quite a few different versions of the same project. Just keeping that in mind, here's some best practices or just some technical tips for you. You can edit these data regions, and you could add, for example, a user category. So for this, I might have house demo. If it's an interactive system, I high, medium, low intensity. Also, I've discussed the composite tracks before. IEM plugins are used to translate your mix. Background project is mixing all the sources in high order ambisonics, and it's set up so that you can listen or render in multiple formats, down mixing to your desired output format. Default is stereo. With the binaural version that's available, you can actually feel the rain landing above you. So having said all that, let's move on to the rest of the collection and see what is in the other two projects. Let's actually listen to some more of these different environments and give you a better sense of the array of what's available. So we have things from brick and concrete, some foliage, stone echoing. That's a really kind of an interesting addition. Water, wood, and also fabric. So the project should look a little less intimidating now. It's a lot of the same structure that we've seen and had in place for rain background. But here, there's some things that are even more granular, as you might expect with a closer perspective. Just to start, looking at the actual layers, we have a close layer and a drops layer with a bunch of different variations and intensity levels contained on the tracks inside. A density macro also has been added on the control track for this one. So again, closer perspective, you're going to want maybe some finer adjustment tuning tools for this. So really quick, just I'm gonna throw up some automation and we can just kind of hear what this thing does. And then let's move on back to the main project and go to the raindrop, individual raindrops. You have that level of control. Let's check those out. Starting with metal roof, that should be kind of a pretty good example, I think, just to hear this thing. We have multiple layers even for these individual drops, which is a level of detail that I didn't quite expect maybe, but it's awesome. We also still have the same control track and macros in place. So you have the same amount of control over an individual drop that you did over the close or the background perspectives. We're already kind of familiar with the surfaces, but let's just hear some of these individual drops for completeness. Concrete regular, fabric, various foliage, and then everything else from glass to water, similar to what we saw in the rain close project. So, having looked at all that, if you wanted to build a rainstorm one drop at a time with this level of control, you could definitely do that. There's really no limitation to the extent you could take with this collection and putting rain inside whatever your project is. So, just tying everything together now with my overall impression, I mean, I was blown away with the comprehensive control tracks and just how much is going on to allow you to create the perfect mix for whatever environment as far as the way of rain goes. So, although this is, this whole collection is just focused on rain, I came to quickly realize anytime we have a hyper focused collection like this, you can expect some really great and intuitive things from it. And I look forward to using this some more when the needs arise. Thank you so much again for watching. Hopefully you're finding these demonstrations interesting and you're really getting a sense of what Strata can do for you in terms of changing and making your workflow just better, having more time for yourself to be creative as a sound designer. If you haven't already, you can try Strata out for yourself, totally free. You can get the 2 sample collections that are available, tons of material in there. Try it out. You can use it in your projects today. If you have any questions, head over to the Audiokinetic community Q&A, or you can leave comments in the comment section below and we'll take a look at those. If there's any way we can help, or if you have an interest in Strata and you want to talk to somebody, just let us know or reach out to me even. I will see you in the next Strata overview or Strata video that we put out. Until then, take care and I will see you later.